Here we go. It's episode number 16 of Going Fishing with Brett Raymer from Tanked. How you guys doing? We got Brett and Agnes here. What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's happening?
What's the feedback been from the past 15 episodes?
Man, it's been great. It's been great. People love it. They love getting a little piece of us every week, even if it's not the whole cast and crew. I see people, commenting every week how excited they are that we're back and that we're talking about the old episodes. And they get to see. The funny thing is it seems like we talk about episodes and they wind up on television.
I know. I know.
We're the soothsayers of what Animal Planet's going to air in the future. Well, today we're breaking down season 9, episode number 13, Gabriel Iglesias's Fluffy Tank. And comedian Gabriel Iglesias, he requests a tank inspired by his fascination with Volkswagen buses for his remodeled office. But the job is interrupted by a robbery at ATM's headquarters. We'll break this all down. Huge episode, 0.98 in the ratings according to Wikipedia. So it's a huge episode for you guys. And the episode opens with Wade watching videos of Fluffy, Gabriel, for the first time. Was Wade really out of touch with celebrities and athletes? And were any of them ever offended that he wasn't familiar with their work?
I mean, he was definitely out of touch with celebrities and not reality, but like sports world. He had no clue about sports. He knew who like maybe some of the bigger celebrities were, obviously The Rock and this one and that one. He knew some of them, but there was some of them like he was completely like out of touch with that. He was clueless.
In this episode,
he was not, he didn't know many athletes at all.
What I love about this episode, Brett, I mean, you're on fire in this episode with your one-liners. There's one, Wade thinking Optimus Prime was a steak, Wade being confused with what a gym was. I mean, the zingers were going nonstop on this one. Did he ever get upset with you?
Nah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it wasn't like I did that like to him like all the time outside the show. Like, the show was about being funny. And, Agnes will tell you, I think I'm one of the funniest guys out there. So when we're doing an episode like Fluffy, I got to bring my game to a whole new level because, in that episode, I can't let him outshine me as the funnier guy.
And I think you were the funnier guy on that episode, Brett. I mean, you were crushing it, my friend. Now there was this episode, there was no Agnes. There was no Heather. There was no General. It was just pretty much you and Wade. We saw Red in there for a little bit. Why was that? It was only the focus on you guys this episode.
Yeah, there could have been a variety of reasons. I mean, it could have been Agnes could have been on vacation. It could have been, just different things arise. I mean, you'll notice in a lot of the episodes, like I was gone from a couple episodes and Wade and Heather were gone from an episode. And, it varied depending on everybody's personal life as well. Sometimes people had work travel plans, weddings, this, that, family in town, where they just couldn't be a part of the television show. Or sometimes they just had such great footage of me and Wade because they would overshoot the episode. And then the way they put it together, the storyline didn't really fit everyone into the storyline, because, a lot of these shows, they overshoot the show and there's a couple of scenes that never make it. So, depending on how the episode flowed, that also depended on who, would make the episode or not.
Agnes, do you remember the filming of this episode? Were you around and just didn't make the cut, or was this one where you're just off on vacation?
No, I do remember this one. I was more involved in the shop part of it when we built the 2 cars, because these were the cars that were double-ended, that had one coming in and one coming out. They were the Volkswagens, right, B?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was I was more as far as being in the shop with the design of those.
Well, Fluffy, he posted photos when you guys were filming, and that was on April 1st, 2015. He posted a bunch of photos on his Facebook page. This show airs in June. That seems like a fast turnaround for you guys. Was this a rather quick one for you guys?
Yeah, that was a quick episode. They needed to get the turnaround. We were I told you like before, there were some episodes that we had time with, and there were some episodes that we didn't have time with. And if I remember correctly, they wanted to release that episode. Fluffy had something big going on, and they wanted to kind of release the episode along with, some of the stuff that he was doing.
Well, there's a great scene where you guys go down. He wants this VW bus. You and Wade drive down to Arizona, and there's a woman selling this van. It's false advertising. She has one van up there. You guys get down there. It's a different van. She's driving a hard bargain. Tell me more about this lady that was selling you guys the VW bus.
Yeah, she was feisty. She was feisty.
Yeah, I do remember this.
Yeah, we just like, if I remember correctly, we saw this ad and we went down there and we just had to deal with this lady, and then they made her really give us a ride for our money. Like they were like, you need to ride these guys. They got a hold of her first and said, you need to really give it to these guys.
So she was legit. That was the real deal. You guys were scouring the internet to find the VW bus, and you found that down in Arizona. That whole thing was legit.
That was according to what I know, that it was legit. The producers, I don't know what they had a hand in, but at the end of the day, they just tell me to show up. I just show up, I film, and then I leave.
Well, I liked it. It was something different. You and Wade driving down there. Now all of a sudden it's a car show, and you guys are buying VW buses. You eventually get the VW bus. You bring it back to Las Vegas. You cut the thing in half. You're all ready for the build, and then the front of the bus goes missing, and we find out that you guys were robbed. Did you ever find the person? You addressed the robbery, but did you ever find the person that robbed the front half of that bus?
Nope, we never found it. Never found them. The place was robbed a couple of times. They even stole Wade's birds a couple of times. They kidnapped Wade's birds. That was a whole deal. That was on the news and everything.
They stole all the birds, and they stole there was a cat. They stole all the animals, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was big news. That was national news. It was huge news when that robbery took place. That was in 2013. According to news reports, they got 4 of Wade's prized birds and 4 bearded dragons taken from your Las Vegas production company. Did you ever find the guys that did that?
No, they didn't find the guys, but we got some of the birds back. I remember some of the birds. Yeah, some of the birds, they flew back in. Somehow they came back. They came back somehow.
They did not come back.
Oh, remember we found that we put out rewards, and like people were, I think people were like duct taping the birds to the door.
Yeah, with that 2013.
No one wanted to be involved. No one wanted to be involved because where'd you get the bird? Okay, well, the bird just wasn't hanging out. You got to like come up with like who gave you the bird. Like so there had to be an answer somehow. So I think that they were like take the bird, put him in a cage, and like leave him by the door, a little note. It said return to Wade.
Did that become a storyline or an episode? Because that's 2013. You guys started the show in 2011. Was that a storyline on an episode? The birds?
It might have been. I think it was part of an episode, if I remember correctly. It's been 13's a long time, even 15's a long time. But I was super excited to do Fluffy because I was a big fan. And anytime I can have, I'm trying to always showcase my comedy. So like anytime we get, somebody like those guys, like they can really appreciate it. So I try to like be like a little extra, put a little extra sauce on it for that day.
It was always trying to be extra hot sauce.
Extra hot sauce, you know it.
Well, the stealing of the robbery of the front half of the bus was kind of a blessing in disguise, because you go see Fluffy to tell him that, hey, our 78 VW bus that we had was stolen. We're at ground zero now looking for a new bus. And he points out, he's like, that doesn't count. That's not the bus I wanted. I wanted one from the 60s. So that was kind of a blessing in disguise, where if you started the build, you got the wrong bus. Has anyone ever been upset with a build? I mean, if that didn't happen, you're going to install the wrong bus for Fluffy. So did anybody get upset with your installations?
I mean, we had Bruce and Leslie Gilliott when we did the quarantine system inside the house, and one of the sides was black and it wasn't supposed to be black, and then we had to like remake the whole couple of aquariums. She was pretty upset. She was pretty hot. We had a couple of clients where we made the background on the wrong side. I mean, not every install went perfectly, but I mean, there's a chance he could have been upset. And what would have happened is probably we would have installed it and we would have shot the show like he wouldn't have been upset. He would have been thrilled. And then afterwards we would have had to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That happened a couple of times where they were just like, look, let's just get through the show. Let's just roll with it. And then later on, we'll come back and address it.
Do you think of any examples off the top of your head? That's interesting.
No, I'm not off the top of my head, but I definitely know there was a couple episodes. Maybe Agnes could think of one.
Well, wasn't no, not the snake one.
No, I don't remember. I just know that it happened a couple of times. I just remember, there was some things that we had to like get past because they couldn't be fixed at that moment. And the client, Well, so what's not going to
Oh,
happen is,
I know one. Okay, do you remember Bart Scott's pond? It
yeah,
wasn't the aquarium, but it was the panel. Do you remember that?
I remember that was an that wasn't, was that an episode? Yeah, it was. So Bart Scott's Pond, it
Yes.
wasn't clear like it should have been, and we had to film the episode, and they just filmed it, and then we went back and did a whole bunch of work later on to really get it to where it looked. So if you go back and look at that episode, you'll see the shots aren't as crystal clear as some of the other shots in the past.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. So if you go to install that bus for Fluffy, it's the wrong one. You're going to say, hey, fake it. Show us some excitement. Pretend this is the one. Let's finish this. And then when we wrap up the filming, we'll come out with a proper one. That's nuts, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, because it was $10,000 a day for production so they would rather just roll with it. We're already there. Let's just do it. And then come back and let, whether ATM has to pay or production has to pay, whoever's fault it was, we'll figure that out afterwards and let us just, do what we got to do and we'll make it right. So, we made it right 99.9% of the times,
And this installation is happening kind of in like Fluffy's his clubhouse. You have any more stories about his clubhouse, or how was that hanging out there? He had really cool cars, a gym, he had a whole setup out there.
Yeah, it was cool. He was cool. He hung out with us all the time. He had a really cool setup over there. They had the all those VW bugs. He had like the cool conference room. The table was tremendous. It was like more like a warehouse. It was like a warehouse. He had everything in there. His merchandise. He had all kinds of cool stuff in there. It was pretty cool.
Talk about the installation, or when you put the fish into the tank, because I saw an article talking about it that saying that the fish need to acclimate themselves for a long time before going in the tank. Would you just show up and drop the fish in there, or was there an acclimation time for the tank and the fish to kind of?
So a lot of the process that people didn't see off camera was we had a lot of biomaterial seeding. We call it seeding in our industry, where it's already an active biofiltration, where we were able to take that and had it stored off site somewhere. And then what we would do is we would take they would call them bio balls, which are actually balls that have a really huge surface area, and bacteria adheres to the bio ball. So what we would do is we would take ones that were sitting in there for months and months and months, already ready to go, and put them into the existing system along with chemically adding chemicals to the aquarium to cycle the aquariums through chemicals. And then we would put the fish in, and it would be like putting it into a cycled aquarium.
We saw those black balls in this episode. Fluffy was playing with those black balls.
Yeah. No, the balls come in all different colors. They come black, they come red, white, blue, green. Blue balls is my favorite.
Oh my God. Yes, I love the bio balls.
What balls, Agnes?
Bio balls.
Bio balls. Just a side note, because this is a VW build, the bus, you cut it in half. There's Subaru of Las Vegas here in Las Vegas, go figure.
Yes.
And they've got a VW bus. It looks like it's shrunken down, but it's a fish tank that you guys did. Was that an episode, or was that just a build on the side? Because that is spectacular.
That's a Subi. That's a Subi.
Are you talking about the Subaru tank now? Yeah, it's in Subaru.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's that Subaru of Las Vegas Volkswagen bus, though, right?
No, it's a Subi.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Yeah, why would VW have a thing in Volkswagen? Subaru? Come on, JC.
It's a Subaru. I always thought it was a VW bus. It's a Subaru?
It's a Subi.
Subaru has a bus?
Called the Subi.
Yeah, I have a picture of it if you want to see it. I was just there because my mom ended up getting a car there, buying it.
I always thought it was a Volkswagen bus. I've been in there like seven.
The Subi made it because the people that couldn't afford the buses, they get a smaller version called the Subi.
And that was the actual size of a Subi?
Yeah. That was
I always thought it was a VW bus cut in half and shrunk down.
No, it was a Subi.
Well, someone's dropping the advertising ball here because I couldn't tell.
Wait, have you been there lately? Because I was just there and it looks beautiful.
Oh yeah. I was just there like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We should do an episode from there.
Absolutely.
They would love that.
It's stunning. And Burden, the general manager, he's awesome. It's really cool stuff.
And the best thing is they have the Vegas Strong look, back from the shooting. We had the Vegas Strong in there, and they've maintained it and it looks beautiful. I love going there. My mom gets her car maintenance there, so I love just seeing it. It's really cool.
That's awesome. Any other stories from this episode that you guys want to share?
No, I just think that like I said, someone took that bus, which I had no idea why they would even want to take a bus. And then, like you said, it was a blessing in disguise. But it was a good episode. Fluffy was fun. Like he was good to meet. He had a nice car collection. His car collection was bad. And though he had all those buses, like I'd never seen anything like that. It was pretty cool to see.
That whole thing, everyone came together, even with all the mishaps, the whole production crew, and was just very good, and it was a blessing in disguise. Everything was really cool. And again, I love him because he makes a genius comic, so I love him.
Well, Brett, you were holding your own in that episode with your one-liners, man. I thought it was a fun episode to watch. Zingers were nonstop, man, nonstop.
I'm telling you, I always look for that. The fun thing was that when we did the show, I would always look for that one-liner, right? I was always looking for it, no matter what. Outside of the show, like we do here, I come with them every once in a while. But when the camera was rolling, that was the time for the one-liners, and none of those were planned. Like most of those just came off the cuff. And Wade set himself up for a lot of those. Like literally, like he would walk. He was the easiest setup guy. Like he would walk right into him. Like, strike one.
But sorry, JC.
No,
you're quick-witted on that too. You're quick-witted with those long one-liners too. You got to go.
It opened up, and it was my favorite part when he comes walking into the Fluffy's clubhouse, and there's the gym, and just Wade goes, "What's this?" And just as soon as he said, "What's this?" I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go!" And boom, right there.
But that's just how it was. That's just how it was. No matter when we come in, like the funny thing is we did the one line that I really liked, which was good. Not in this episode, but it was in another episode. Was when we did with Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh yeah.
And then we were both dressed in tuxedos for the first time. And I said, "Yeah, hi, I'm 007 and this is 007."
I
don't know. It just came out of nowhere. It just came out.
I mean, and Wade's a big guy, but he's not that big of a guy. It's like, I don't know. It's so funny, man.
Yeah.
Wade has a sweet soul, and it was so easy. But
I had a lot of practice growing up as kids. We had a bunch of fellas that all grew up with each other. We're all still good friends. We had a chubby guy in our group. I was practicing. I have to admit, I was practicing for about 20 years on my friends. That we grew up with. We'd all like hang out, go drinking, and then the next thing you know is we'd be sitting in the car, just abusing each other on the way home, laughing, having fun, tears coming down our eyes. And also too is I watch a lot of comedies. The other day we watched one of my favorite movies with Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy is Identity Theft.
Oh yeah, it's a great one.
The one-liners in that movie are just tears. Every time I see it, the tears just come down my eyes. But quick puns, I like it.
What's one of them? I don't think I've seen that one.
I just got a question. What's Dingus Day?
Dingus, Schmingus Dingus. You know what Schmingus Dingus is?
No idea.
It's where you in Poland. So obviously there's a lot going on, but it's basically where you throw water on each other. Schmingus Dingus. Look it up.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I didn't know. I saw your shirt. It said Dingus Day, Buffalo, New York.
That's right. It's Dingus Day. It's big. It's celebrated. Well, obviously in Poland, but in Buffalo, New York, and just many places, it's a big holiday. Schmingus Dingus. Say it. Schmingus Dingus.
I thought it said Agnes Day. I really did. I didn't see. I thought it said Agnes Day. I need to pay more attention.
We have an Agnes Day.
They're gonna have Agnes Day in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. That was a blast. It was a fun episode to watch and a fun episode to recap with you guys. I think that'll do it, right, for episode number 16 of Going Fishing with Brett Raymer from Tanked.
Yeah, that's awesome. Maybe next week we get over to Subaru.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Look at the VW bus.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day. Agnes, good to see you. JC, I'll see you soon.
See you Friday. TV time. All right, guys. I'll see you.
All right.